welcome to episode 17 of Two Skeptical Chaps, with your two skeptical chaps, myself Spike and Dan.
Hello.
What's cooking, Dan?
Well, I think we need to rename the show. I think we should no longer be the skeptical chaps. I think we should become the psychic chaps.
Oh, yes, we should. But before we go into that, let me do my blurb.
Okay.
Every episode, we rant and rave about anything from news, current affairs, social media, politics, whatever annoys or delights us. And if you are under 18 or easily offended, we suggest you should probably not be listening to this. And we have become psychic.
Yes, I don't know how we did it, but so a few episodes back, we were discussing Donald Trump, which we're going to... I think this will be a light Donald Trump episode. I think we've had enough of it.
Donald Trump light.
Yeah. But, I predicted a while ago, I said, all of the crazy stuff he's done, I said something along the lines of, I think the next thing he's going to do is say he's going to kill somebody.
And then
he came out and said he would.
Yeah.
So then the last episode, I thought, let Spike have a turn at predicting. And Spike's prediction was that he would have a run-in with the Christians, I think was what you said, wasn't it, Spike?
Yes.
You didn't say specifically the Pope, but you said he would have a falling out with the Christians.
Mm-hmm.
And we released the episode, and a few days later, I spotted the BBC headline.
Yes.
That the Pope, of all people, has had a big falling out with Donald Trump. Yeah. So clearly, Spike, we're tuned in. I think we should start buying lottery tickets and things.
The funny thing is, we are both psychic, but we're both skeptical about it.
Yeah, we don't believe we've got these powers, but
we do. So right, okay, the ball's back in your court, Dan. What's your next psychic prediction?
My next psychic prediction. Do you think we're only psychic when it comes to Donald Trump, or do you think we could expand our powers to?
No, let's. You know what?
Large?
While we have it, exploit it. Okay. So blue sky freestyle.
Okay.
Be psychic about anything that's out in the news currently.
All I can think of is Donald Trump. That's all I want to predict. What else could be next then? No, I want to stick with Donald Trump. You can freestyle if you want, but
okay.
I think I'm in the Donald Trump zone. I think that's where I'm going to focus my psychic powers this week. So we've done the murder thing, we've had the Christian thing. I think next there's going to be a big sex scandal with Donald Trump.
Ooh.
I think there's going to be something sexy going on with Donald
Trump. You mean as opposed to the previous sex scandals?
Yeah, there'll be a new one. That's what I'm saying. There'll be a whole new thing going on. He's going to be caught diddling someone that he shouldn't have been, or he'll say something sexy related. That's my prediction.
Yeah, that's a good one, but that's almost...
See what I've done there is I've gone very broad.
Yeah.
I'm doing what the psychics do. I'm giving myself a very good chance of something coming true.
Yeah, but that's the way it works, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, no, yeah, I know, but we were quite specific before. I mean, we actually said murder, and we said, all with the Christians.
It's like...
But now I'm saying something sexy related.
I've seen this, one of these world-famous psychics recently made such an amazing prediction that 2016 that we are in, there's going to be a couple of big earthquakes around the world.
Wow, how do they do it?
And I just thought, wow. Amazing. So yeah, we are being more specific, and we are actually being more successful. So yeah, sex scandal, you say?
Yeah, I think something sexual related.
Okay, my psychic powers. Wait, let me just think about this. It's coming on. Okay. I think that Boris Johnson is going to become, over the next few weeks, more politically powerful than what he's ever been.
Well, he's just done his EU prediction, or he's cast his opinion rather on the EU.
Oh yes.
So he's saying he wants. Yeah, he's just. Yeah, this is breaking news, Spike. This is just a few hours old. Although it'll be old news by the time we release this podcast. But yeah, he said he wants to leave. He wants us to be separate.
I didn't know that.
But you didn't know that. Well, actually, you say you didn't know that.
No, seriously, I didn't, because
you didn't know that.
I was watching the news last night, and they said everyone's apparently waiting on Boris's decision whether he's going to go.
I don't know why they're waiting on Boris specifically. Why does his opinion weigh so heavily that everyone got... There was quite a big build-up to what's Boris's take on this going to be.
Because I think it was almost like, in terms of power and influence, they had a sort of 50-50 balance in terms of the number of most powerful and influential politicians going for the yes versus those going for the no. And Boris had yet made his mind up, and people know that he's very popular amongst the public, so his decision was kind of key.
Well, I'm not really sure what to make of it, to be honest. I don't think I've really got enough understanding or information to make a proper decision as to whether we should be in or stay out.
Yeah.
I think mine would be very high level reasoning, which is I just think that the world would be a nicer place if we were all kind of linked and all together, and this is a step away from that. This is a step towards segregation again, would be my very high level opinion. Yeah. And the other thing that makes me feel that it's a mistake is because I saw that Nigel Farage is obviously wanting us to be separate, and I think if in doubt, a very good rule of thumb is just do the opposite of whatever Nigel Farage says. I think that's a pretty good way to live your life.
Yeah, that's a good way to go, I think. But no, for me personally, I think I will listen. To be honest, I'm undecided. I'm on the fence. I have no idea where my vote would go. But I want to listen to what everyone has to say. I want to listen what the yeses have to say, what the nos have to say, before I decide. I'm totally on the fence at the moment. I'm totally 50-50. Try and convince me. I would make that as a challenge towards the yes campaign and the no campaign. Try and convince me what is more, or what is the best thing to do. I know maybe the safest option would be to stay, but in the long term, that might not be the best option. But yeah, convince me.
Well, is it the best option for the country that you're worried about, or the best option for Europe and the planet as a whole? Because I kind of want to look at it on the, be very humanitarian about it.
Of course,
say, all right, even if you said it's going to be much better for us as a country to stay in or to step out, whichever way around it is, you have to. I think at some point you just kind of look back at civilization. In 1,000 years' time, will this be viewed as a wonderful success or a really selfish? Step or
No. Very good point. But my argument goes both ways. So not just for the UK on its own, but also
tell us what would be better for the world.
Exactly.
Explain to me why smaller government is better than.
And I think I've seen good arguments for European countries existing on their own versus a combined European Union. I think there's good arguments on both points, and as yet I'm undecided. I would want someone to flick me off that fence towards one side. I've not done that yet.
Okay, well let's see how it pans out.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's my prediction. I think over the next couple of weeks, Boris is going to become
prominent,
much more politically dominant than what he has been.
Well, I'll be shocked if he doesn't one day run for PM. I can't imagine him not doing it. I think he'd get it as well. I think he's popular enough.
I think so.
Because it's coming. He's kind of like an American-style politician, really, isn't he? Because people vote for him based on the personality rather than the views. And he just seems to be... I know there are a lot of people that do hate him as well, but I think that he's got a huge amount of support. The people that just like him as a person, and then you'd get Tory voters that would go with him regardless.
Yeah, I think a lot of people vote for him for his almost comedy value, or like him because of his more human approach in certain ways. But also, I think a lot of the times he does that because he knows it works.
I think he's often playing into a role, isn't he? That
he plays that role very well.
A lot of that deliberately. Because he knows people like it.
For him as a serious sort of prime minister potential, I'd yet have to see that. But I think he has the potential. I don't
know if I'd want to see him as PM. I think as a mayor he's good, because that's more a job about putting yourself out there in front of the world and trying to bring people to... I mean, it's a lot tourism based stuff, isn't it? That's really Mayor of London is kind of someone that can bring in a few more tourists, and I think doing that sort of stuff he does quite well. But I'm not sure if I'd want him in charge of the nuclear submarines and things. Jolly ho, I just hit this button and... Oops!
From Boris Bikes to Boris Missiles.
Oh dear. Well, I had an idea a while back for him that he should have had... when it gets really, really hot in the tube in the summer, I thought they should start handing out either bottles of cold water to everybody or bags of ice. And I tweeted this to Boris Johnson and said, you could call them Boris Bottles or Boris Bags if you like. But I never got a response.
I guess you're not going to be getting a call soon to join his advisory board.
Probably not. Wouldn't you like to hold a Boris bag on the tube? He does a thing every month, actually. I think it's only once a month he does it. Ask Boris, where you can tweet, and it's supposed to be questions about London. I think in his position as mayor that he responds, but a lot of people go well off the track.
I've seen them, but colourful language, I should say.
Well, he's never responded to any of my Ask Boris's, but I wanted to know if there was a zombie survival plan for London. I'm into that sort of thing.
Yeah. Did they respond?
No response at all. So I can only assume we haven't got one, or it's a top secret zombie survival plan that we don't want to know about.
I saw you posted a news article on our Facebook page a couple of days ago, which actually got quite a lot of interest.
Yes, I think this story's got more interest than anything else we've ever put on our Facebook page, which isn't saying a lot because we haven't got that many followers yet. But yeah, this has gone quite big. This story, it was a dolphin. The original story I got from Sky News was dolphin dies after being passed around for selfies, and there was a picture which looks exactly like what it sounds, of a huge crowd of people standing in the sea holding a very small dolphin. They're passing it around and they're all reaching in to stroke it, and half of them are holding up mobile phones. And yeah, beachgoers gather around a small dolphin after it is scooped out of the sea off the coast of Argentina. And that was the initial story, which got a hell of a lot of condemnation from Twitter, and I think people like Ricky Gervais were chipping in quite heavily. He's quite pro-animal rights and stuff. But yeah, what was your... obviously you were disgusted, I'm assuming, Spike, with that, but what was your initial take on this?
The first thing I thought... the first thing I had to do was pick my jaw up from the ground and lodge it back into place, because I was totally stunned, not only for their total lack of compassion, but also for the total lack of knowledge or understanding. I mean, I probably knew when I was 4 or 5 years old that you cannot take a dolphin out of the water for too long, or else they need constant hydration, or else they'll die. But I think subsequently we've heard that what they actually did was they actually took a dead dolphin out of the water.
Well, that was then... Yeah, I was going to get to that. That was the news that followed up. Was a day or two later, the story then evolved, and they said actually it wasn't a dead dolphin was the story, which... let me just pull that article up.
Yeah, no, I actually agree 100% with our Agent 001 Jeff's comment. He said that's potentially even worse. I'm stunned all around, I should say.
A couple of days later, I got this one from the Metro. They're saying apparently the dolphin wasn't killed by tourists. Apparently, and the article then claims that they picked up a dead dolphin, and they said there was lots of other stuff. But there's a video that goes with it on the Metro, which shows someone actually pulling this dolphin out of the sea, which it doesn't, to be fair, it doesn't look like it's in a very healthy state, but it does look like it's moving when he picks it up and pulls it out of the sea. And even if you thought it was dead, it might not be, and pulling it out of the ocean definitely isn't going to revive it. It's not going
to help, of course.
And even if it is dead, who wants a selfie with a dead dolphin? That's what I don't really understand at all. But I'm not. I don't think this is a nice story. Whatever the scenario that comes out of this, is it? If it was the dead one, then they pulled a dead dolphin out of the pictures, or if it's even worse if they pulled it out and killed it.
Yeah, I'm just struggling to understand the mentality of pull this dolphin out of the water. Okay, let's say it's not well, or it's close to death or whatever. Take a quick selfie, pass it on. Next one, take a selfie, pass it on. Next one, take a selfie, pass it on. I just don't get that mentality. I just don't understand it.
Well, I get the impression, looking at the massive crowd of people that are going in with their cameras up and reaching out to touch it and stuff in this picture, I get the impression, even if there was been a couple of people there that would say, no, put it back in the sea, it needs to be in the water, I bet they would have been shoved away by people that were still queuing to get their selfie. Yep. I think that dolphin was screwed no matter what in that situation. Yep. Yeah, it's not nice. Have you ever swum with dolphins? I've swum with dolphins.
I don't think I've swum with dolphins. No. But I have sort of stroked or touched one at SeaWorld. It must have been in Durban in South Africa. Yes.
Because I've had a couple of chances to do it. I went the first time I went in Mexico, and they were in captivity, but they were in like a massive swimming pool thing, and they'd all been trained to do tricks for the tourists, and they'd like push you through the water and stuff. And I came away from that feeling very uncomfortable, because I went there thinking this is going to be sort of one of those magical experiences that everyone talks about, and I just kind of came away feeling quite sorry for the dolphins, because they're supposed to be out in the ocean, and I wasn't really happy with that. And then a few years later, I was on holiday in Dominican. They had an area in the sea that they built a massive like fence in the sea, and there were dolphins. So they were in the sea, but they were still in captivity, and they were doing that as like a touristy thing to get people in. And I refused to go and do it. I didn't want to do anything to do with it, and I was actually semi-tempted to sneak out in the night with a pair of bolt cutters and set them free, but I thought I'd probably get arrested and shot in Dominican for doing something like that. So
I just think...
But I can see why Greenpeace activists might do something like that.
I just think we probably live in an age where the amount of likes you get on a Facebook post is more important than the compassion or common sense you display in that situation. So I think these people are probably more concerned than the likes they were going to get on that picture than the life of that dolphin.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Actually, there's a big thing. Oh, I'm going to get this picture no matter what the cost because it's going to look cool.
Yep.
And it's like, yes, but that's a picture of you potentially killing an animal or holding a corpse. Is the other way. Looking at it, it's not nice. Yeah. I just wonder if there's going to be more because the second article that says that there was a lot of dead things. They said there was lots of jellyfish and things like that dying around there, which isn't a good sign when things just start dropping dead in the ocean. But I wonder if there's going to be more things like this happening. Because there's all sorts of reports of whales and things washing up in places and at a seemingly increasing rate.
Yeah.
So I think we need to be a bit concerned.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, on a slightly related topic, I don't know if you saw the story that was posted on the Telegraph recently about a 21-year-old male who wanted to take a selfie, but camera in the one hand and a gun in the other hand pointed to his head. So he wanted to take the selfie of him pointing a gun at his own head, but...
Oh, I've heard something about this. I read an article about death by selfie. Did he kill himself?
Yes. So what happened instead of clicking the shutter button on the phone,
is that what he got mixed up with fingers?
Yeah. He pulled the trigger and killed himself.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah.
Oh man, I read
all for likes.
Yeah, desperately to try and get a like.
Yeah, and
I read an article a while ago about selfies taken moments before death.
Yeah. And I mean, this obviously, if it was a genuine error and mistake, it's such a terrible event to occur to anyone. But I mean, the reasoning for getting him to that point just says a lot about society, I think.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
That's a cheery start to the show. That's what
Yeah.
Let's do a happy animal story.
Okay. Let's bring it back.
Well, this made me happy anyway. I don't know why exactly, but this just delighted me. This is from the Metro, which is where I get 90% of my news stories. If I ever don't mention where I got a story from, just assume it's the Metro. But yeah, this was, and I'm going to read the headline. Monkey walks into bar, downs rum, threatens people with a knife. Now, I love every part of that headline. It just gets better and better and better, doesn't it?
Where did this happen then?
It was in Brazil.
Uh-huh.
So, this is fantastic. So, I just like the language. The belligerent monkey.
Oh, he was belligerent as well.
Belligerent, yes. Can a monkey be belligerent? The belligerent monkey apparently downed a glass of rum and started threatening people with a sharp knife. Caught on camera. There's a video of this. It's kind of on the roof in the video. It's like climbed up on the roof of this little bar, and it's got quite a big kitchen knife. I mean, the knife's... So this monkey, this isn't a knife. This is a sword because it's like the full length of its body, and it's like holding it in like a stabbing, aggressive motion. But yeah, it was. It can be seen wreaking havoc, running around and vandalising the bar.
I think
that bar's going to get a lot more customers off the back of this because I would go to any bar that had monkeys running around it.
But yeah, do you know what? I think the monkey did that because he was just so upset with tourists wanting to take selfies with him all day.
And he wanted this selfie, so he got a knife. I've had it with this. I'm having a drink. I'm getting a knife.
Belligerently, he's had enough.
But this is interesting. Who would you phone if there was like a monkey going crazy in like a pub or a bar that you were in? Which emergency service would you call?
The SPCA, I guess.
Yeah, you call the RSPCA, or if you weren't calling the RSPCA, which one of the big three would you phone?
Big three, as in?
What? Yeah, police, fire, ambulance. Who would you call if there was a monkey going nuts in a?
Well, yeah, probably one of them. Why?
Yeah, but I'm curious as to which one of the three would you go with?
Police.
Yeah, I would go with the police. Yeah, exactly. I would go with the police, but apparently, firefighters were called to the bar to deal with reports of an aggressive monkey. Now, I wonder if this is something in Brazil that they're specifically trained for, but I would have thought that the police would be your first. If not the RSPCA, or, you know, whatever the equivalent is in Brazil, I would think the police would be the people to deal with animals going mad or something, if, you know. But yeah, they've got the firefighters out. I like the idea that they turn up with big hose. Where's the fire? No, it's a monkey.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, we're not paid to do this. Oh, talking about that just triggered another memory. There was an article about a week ago of some TfL employer who apparently didn't want to help a lady up the stairs with a push tram or something and the baby because he said he wasn't paid to do that.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, it was all over the papers. I just...
Well, you know, there's now and again you hear that statistic that like 1 in 10 people are sociopaths. They have no empathy and no... When I hear stories like that, I think, yeah, it probably is true, because there are people that just wouldn't occur to them that it's the right thing to do or the nice thing to do. They just go, no, not paid for that. What's in it for me?
Yeah.
So,
well, if you think 1 in 10 are sociopaths and maybe 1 in 10 as well, it's probably psychopaths.
Well, I'm not sure. Doesn't psychopath mean that they could start killing? And,
No.
Or they have an urge to kill? Because I did read the psychopath test by
yes.
What's his name? Ronson.
Yes.
That's quite a good book.
No, but sociopaths and psychopaths are different. I mean, it's probably in the same family, I would think. But my understanding is that sociopaths actually fit into society better than psychopaths, and they are harder to spot. So they socially, but
that's what I was getting at. I think the psychopaths is like the psychopath. I thought a psychopath was basically a sociopath that also has urges to kill or whatever. Well, this is interesting. So it says here both of these disorders. I'm reading this from defend.com. Not sure what this website is exactly, but it says here that both of these disorders are the result of an interaction between genetic predispositions and environmental factors. Psychopathy is used when the underlying cause leans towards hereditary. Sociopath is the term used when the antisocial behaviour is the result of a brain injury or negative sociological factors.
Oh, that's the first
like
I've heard
parental
that.
neglect. It says, I've never heard it described that way either.
Yeah. So I've just found something that says sociopaths tend to be nervous and easily agitated. Psychopaths, on the other hand, are unable to form emotional attachments or feel real empathy with others. So the sociopaths are more volatile and prone to emotional outbursts, including fits of rage, whereas the psychopaths tend to be more disarming or even charming personalities.
Cold and calculating. Yeah.
So
I like how we've segued from a conversation about a monkey in a bar to a debate between psychopath versus sociopath.
Oh, those were brilliant links, Dan. Brilliant links.
But I want to get back to this monkey, because what I liked in the description of what this monkey got up to is that so after it drank the glass of rum, it picked up a knife, and then it very specifically says, and then started chasing the men around, leaving the women alone.
Oh. There's history.
Which I like that. We've got we've got a very very gentlemanly monkey. He's like, I'm gonna have a fight. I'm gonna get a knife. I'll leave the ladies though. Don't touch the ladies.
One should never touch a lady, you know.
Oh, this is good. At the bottom of the article, it was a bar staff oversight that ended with the monkey drinking some rum and taking the knife.
Oh no!
Brilliant. Yeah, that'll be in your next employee review. How do you feel you've got on this month? Yeah, pretty good. What about that monkey? Oh yeah, no pay rise. Here we go. Oh, it doesn't even end there. The monkey was captured by the firefighters and released back into the wild, but it was later captured a second time for acting aggressively towards residents of homes near the woods. This monkey sounds like it wants a fight. That's what's going on. This is the start of Planet of the Apes.
Ooh.
This is Planet of the Apes. This is how it started.
Ooh.
There we go. It's life imitating art. They should call him Caesar.
Oh no.
There you go. Wonderful. But I've just had to Google something else, because I remembered a story I went to Japan about, I think it was in 2001, and someone told me, and I thought they were winding me up, that there was a restaurant that had monkey waiters.
Oh yeah, no, it's true. And I've seen it.
That's just popped back in my head, and I've just Googled it, and it is true.
Yeah.
There is a. It's in the Daily Mail, so I'll take it with a pinch of salt. But yeah, it said amazing monkey waiters that serve tables in Japanese restaurant.
Yeah.
That'd be brilliant.
Yeah, it's true. I've seen
it.
Actually,
I'll say that. I would like it as a gimmick, but at the same time, that's probably not nice for the monkeys. Do you think?
Yeah, no.
I hope they're well treated.
Of course. I
just like
wouldn't
monkeys.
support that type of establishment, I should say.
Yeah, do you know what I'm thinking about? I'd probably have the same reaction that I did with the Dolphins.
Yeah.
I'd probably go to that restaurant once thinking this is going to be amazing, and I reckon I'd probably come away going, that's terrible, I hope they close the place down.
I actually saw it on a documentary on TV. I think it was called The Weirdest Places on Earth to Eat. And that was one of the places they went to.
Well, that sounds interesting.
Okay, so I've got a story that was posted on our Twitter account by one of our agents, Nick. And this story is about a head teacher who has been mocked on Twitter for claiming evolution is not a fact. So, yeah,
I think I heard this one as well.
Yeah, so this primary school head teacher has been mocked on Twitter after claiming that evolution was only a theory, and there was, in quotes, more evidence that the Bible is true. So, Christina Wilkinson of St Andrew's Church of England School in Ostwald-Twistle, Lancashire, made the remarks in a tweet, and apparently she's got tons of responses. I think even Richard Dawkins weighed in to the conversation.
Well, he likes to weigh into a lot of
stuff,
doesn't
he does. And yeah. But yeah, what is your take?
Well, do you know the thing that gets... I mean, I'm just reading here what one of her tweets was, and she's gone, evolution is not a fact. That's why it's called a theory. And that is one of the most annoying things that I see going around, is people just go... They're just not understanding the use of the word theory in that context.
Yeah.
And I think maybe we need to change it and not keep saying the theory of evolution like we would say the theory of gravity. I think we need to just say evolution.
Yeah.
Or just say the process of evolution. I think you need to stop saying theory, even though we're using it correctly. So many people misinterpret it and then come up with this stupid line of it's just a theory, as in it's something like it's something that someone's just come up with, you know, at a bar one night and written on the back of a napkin. That's just his take on it.
Yeah.
No, it's our complete collection of knowledge around this area, all put into what, you know, this is what we've worked out. This is what all of the evidence points towards that we've got.
Yeah, and this is what Nick said in his tweet. He basically says it's potentially a great case for dropping the misused term theory, in quotes.
Oh, really? Okay, so this is Agent... is this 004, Dr. Nick?
004, yes. Agent 004.
004. Give him his numbers. I think we should always use the numbers.
Yeah, we should. We should.
004.
So, yeah, and I agree with you, because this is probably one of the most frustrating things when I chat to people as well, and when I try and convince them of certain points or certain issues. A lot of the time, actually, most of the time, they all say, oh, but evolution is just a theory, or gravity is just a theory. And you know what? I've heard it so much that I almost want to pull my own hair out, because they obviously don't understand what a scientific theory is. So I don't know what word we choose, but there should be a better word than just theory in that sense.
Maybe we just need to start using fact. This is the fact of evolution. This is the fact of gravity.
Yeah. Because
no matter what you do, but you always kind of have that little... You're always going to have to look, you know, to the best of our knowledge so far. I mean, you could always potentially be proven wrong. That's the thing with anything in science. Science does adapt its views.
Yeah, agreed. But the fact is that gravity does exist. The theory explains how it potentially exists.
That's
and
our
what
best understanding of how it works. But, you know, we might be proven wrong. It might turn out that there is, you know, a magical thing going on that we just aren't aware of yet that's really causing it. Yeah. But, you know, it's proven a negative. To the best of our knowledge, this is what is true.
But people use that word theory to try and win the argument in the end by not saying that evolution is not true. I mean, evolution has been proven in the labs over countless experiments, peer-reviewed experiments, rigorous testing. So for anyone to come and say evolution is not real or evolution is still a theory, they clearly don't understand the scientific process. And we should just say evolution is a fact. The theory of how it happens or why it happens, that might be potentially discussed further, but it's a fact. And I think people get too tied up around this word theory.
Well, there you go. We've solved another problem.
Yeah, maybe we should change it to the model of evolution, or the model of gravity, or the model of whatever.
Yeah, that might carry more weight, mightn't it, in some people's minds?
Mm.
I was just going to say, I saw an interesting, or not interesting, amusing tweet in the week, which I can't believe this is real. I think someone has done this as a joke, but it was like a picture of someone's homework from like primary school or something, and it had a load of pictures of different dinosaurs, and then at the top it had the names of different dinosaurs, and the homework for the child was to put the name of the dinosaur next to the silhouette of the appropriate one. So, there was a T-Rex, there was a Triceratops, and it just had to match them up. And someone's just written across it in big red marker, "There's no such thing as dinosaurs, check your Bible." and then at the top, the teachers then put, "F, please come and see me." I thought that was quite good. But I can't believe that's real. I think someone's done that in jest.
Well, you should go to the Creation Museum in the States. They apparently have...
I would love to go to one of those and film my own little undercover documentary.
Yeah, I've seen they have Mr. Jesus riding on a dinosaur, apparently. So, yeah, they all existed together, So, yeah.
I love the people that say there's no such thing as dinosaurs, or the lengths that they go to say that the world is only 6,000 years old and this, that, and whatever. It's incredible. I mean, the only thing I take from it is, if what you're saying is true, and there is a God who made the Earth 6,000 years ago or whatever, and dinosaurs aren't real, why the hell did he put all of these fossils and things behind to mislead us and make us think that way?
Come on,
to trick us.
To try and trick us.
I've actually heard people. I've heard that proposed, and then I've heard the thing come back. The counter argument to that has been, "No, it's not God. It's the devil. The devil has done that to mislead you." And I thought, why does God let the devil do anything? If God is the most important, powerful thing in the universe, why doesn't he stop in and step? It just drives me crazy.
So the whole thing of the Noah's Ark and the flood, where someone asked one of these top guys at the creationist museum, saying, "Okay, so can you explain to me how did the kangaroos get to Australia after the flood, seeing that Australia is a totally surrounded by sea?" So he says, "Oh, there must have been a land bridge by when they traveled." Okay, where's your proof for this land bridge? "Oh, we will find it one day." How do you argue with someone like that? How do you?
I've had conversations in the States with people that believe Noah's Ark is real.
Yeah.
And it isn't like a metaphor or a parable or whichever way you want to view it.
Yeah.
And there really were two of every animal. The only way I could possibly get on board with it, and I have given this a lot of thought, is I wonder if it's a metaphor for aliens. I could get on board with aliens being involved in very early creation of life on the planet, because we've got no evidence that they were or they weren't.
Yeah.
Life was involved. That would be more plausible to me than a magical bearded man in the sky doing it.
Yeah.
But what if they came down in a big spaceshipy thing, which maybe some people at the times thought of like a boat, and that they took a couple of each animal for sort of experimentation, and that story has evolved into the Noah's Ark fable. That's my little. That's as far conspiratorial as I will go.
Yeah, I think.
And I don't really believe in aliens visiting Earth anyway. I think there's probably some out there, but I doubt they've been here yet.
Yeah, I think there's almost no proof for that either. But that seems more plausible to me than the biblical story.
Well, I was just trying to think, if that story's come from anywhere, someone's either completely made it up, or if it was based in some truth, what could that truth be? And that's where I would go. I'd be more inclined to think aliens than a heavenly creator doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Why does he need a boat? Why does God need a boat? I feel like William Shatner in one of those Star Trek movies where they land on a planet and something comes to them and says that it's God and that it needs their spaceship. And he just, why does God need a spaceship? Just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and why he could have just killed everyone else besides Noah and his family. He could have just killed everyone else with a thought. Okay?
Yeah.
Why did he have to send a flood? He could have just...
No, I will do it with water. I like drowning things. It's fun.
Maybe that's an open question to our agents out there. So first of all, tell us if you can think of a better word for a scientific theory, and secondly, if you can come up with a better, how would you think that if the flood really existed, what is it symbolic for?
That'd be fun.
Let's say the flood story is true. What do you think it is?
Well, maybe not completely true.
Yeah, no.
It was inspired by some sort of real event. What could that real event be?
Yeah, exactly. If it's symbolic of some type of real event, what do you think that real event might be? Might be interesting.
I read a good book. I'm trying to find the name of it. Oh, here we go. I found it. Yeah, there was a book that I wanted to mention a while back, actually, it's called The Story of God, a biblical comedy about love, brackets, and hate.
I read that, yeah. I read it.
You've read it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's for the benefit of the listeners. It's quite good. It goes through the Bible, so it's based on the Christian God, as it were.
Yeah.
But it uses all of the plot points as it were from the Bible, but tells them all from God's perspective. And it's quite weird because there are bits where he's just going, I know that these people will screw up, but I'll create them now anyway so that I can drown them later.
Yeah.
And then God kind of self-doubts and like, why did I create those people knowing that I was going to have to drown them?
Yeah.
Well, sod it, I'll drown them anyway, it's fine.
Yeah, the best thing is his own internal debate within him, with
Yeah,
himself.
he has like an internal monologue.
Yeah,
I knew I was
internal
going to do that.
monologue.
No,
yeah.
of course I did, I'm God, yes I am, yes.
Where if you think about it in that perspective, then you think to yourself, oh yes, actually yeah, that makes sense.
But it goes really crazy towards the end, but just purely based on what's at the end, towards the end of the Bible. The Exodus stuff in the Bible is terrifyingly confusing. There's all sorts of madness going on.
Yeah. Also, I saw read a slightly related tweet a while back where someone said, has anyone ever noticed that when God is talking to Jesus or Jesus is talking to the Bible, I'm sorry, when God is talking to Jesus or Jesus is talking to God in the Bible, who's actually there to record that and write that down?
Ooh, yeah, like that.
And I thought that was brilliant because these are apparently private discussions between God and Jesus.
But he must have told somebody who's then gone and written it down several hundred years later.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
of course.
Oh dear. Yeah, I think getting back to that word thing that we were thinking of, instead of theory, I think because a lot of the people that do this are generally quite stupid. I'm not going to mince words.
You think?
I think we need to come up with something. That
I would change that to ill-informed or uninformed.
Okay.
Yeah, or
if you want
ignorant, yes. But I think ignorance is a choice, though. So yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, carry on.
All right. But generally poor vocabulary thing. I think we need to come up because I mean, if you don't understand what the word theory means in that context, that implies a poor vocabulary.
Yeah.
I think we need to come up with a word that it sounds impressive to them.
Yes.
So instead of theory, maybe we could a thoughty max.
Oh, I see
where I'm going.
I see where you're going with that. Yes.
Yeah, it's what would sound really good? It's a hugey truth.
A biggie big.
Yeah, just something like that. Just make it sound big and impressive, and they go, "Oh, I'm not arguing with that. It's a hugey truth."
This is an enormo fact.
Yes. Oh, I like that. An enormo fact. There you go.
Yeah.
Done it. We've solved. So there you go. If you want to start writing about evolution or anything from now on, in today's lecture we're going to discuss the enormo fact of evolution.
Or Mahuso fact.
Ooh, that's quite good.
Ooh, I like that.
All right, let's see. I bet we've missed something obvious, but yeah, please send in your suggestions.
Yeah, but we should tell the agents out there, or anyone listening, if you don't have anything better than enormo fact or Mahuso fact, don't bother.
Yeah, I prefer enormo fact. I think that sounds quite good.
Okay, so I've got a story, actually posted on my neighbour's Facebook a week or two back, and I just thought this was so brilliant because this is just so typically British. And the article is titled "Drive-by Yoghurt Attack on Crochet Teacher's Haberdashery Leaves Her Shaken."
Wow, it's got everything. That's like the monkey with the rum and the knife. That sentence has got everything, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Drive-by yogurt attack, crochet teacher, haberdashery.
Exactly.
Marvellous.
Yeah, and we probably shouldn't laugh because the article appears to be fairly serious. So the hunt is on apparently for this yogurt throwing convertible driver.
Could be me.
After he's had 2 drive-by attacks in Dorset.
Oh dear.
Yeah, and this has left this crochet teacher's
So hang on, he's done it twice. So it's a cereal drive-by yogurting. No, he didn't use cereal. He used yogurt.
Oh, we are going somewhere. Cereal and yogurt.
Oh yeah, there you go.
These are breakfast bandits.
There you go. Are you getting this from the Central Somerset Gazette?
Yes, the Central Somerset
you're
Gazette.
using? Oh yes, I'm a regular reader of that one myself.
Oh yes, of course I am too. But no, this article is typically one of the reasons why I love Britain, why I love the UK. That's just the article. You can just read the headline and understand it all.
Well, it kind of makes you feel a little bit more hopeful about the world, that's the most serious news they could bring to us. Someone's had a yogurt thrown at them.
I think people in Dorset must be fairly happy and content with life if this is a big story.
Well, I think I've had this conversation before with some people about you can kind of judge the tone of a place that you're in by what's on the morning news in that area if you turn on TV. Because I remember, I've spent most of my life obviously in England and was used to, on the news over here, it'd be something horrible, would be a stabbing or something like that would make the news. And then I've been to America and it doesn't make the news unless like 10 people have been shot or something horrendous like that, or whatever it says. And then I went to Japan and I was watching the morning news there, and it was a man had his wallet stolen outside Tokyo Station, and that made the morning news that someone had a wallet snatched. And I thought, oh, this must be a very nice, safe area.
Yeah.
But I think Somerset sounds like it's taking the prize there. If the most serious thing they can report is a yogurting.
Yeah. The person who suffered the attack is probably very, very lucky that it was just normal single yogurt rather than a Muller corner or those mini chocolate balls.
Oh yeah, because that could do some damage.
That would have been another different case of carnage, I should say. My response to her post was just 2 words: what culture?
I'm seeing some weird stories off this article, Spike. Let me just read you the headlines. I'm still looking at the Central Somerset Gazette.co.uk. I might actually have to become a subscriber. Listen to the headlines that are embedded within the yogurt story that we just read. Attention, dipstick, in quotes. Bad parking vigilantes take to leaving passive-aggressive notes in wells. I'm assuming that's the area. Here's another one. Duck walks into pub. Duck walks... Oh, we're getting lots of animals in bars today. Duck walks into pub, drinks pint, fights dog, loses, maintains bow tie. Not a joke. What the hell is going on in that corner of the world? Oh, no, keep going. What? White van man nearly blows himself up while polishing dashboard. Now, I've got to click on that one. How the hell do you blow yourself up?
Here's another one. 5-year-old has UK's messiest bedroom. I'm telling you, if this is headlines, I'm moving to Dorset if this is headlines in Dorset.
Oh, this sounds quite dramatic, actually. There's pictures of this. This is... it's linked off. I'm now at the Shepperton Mallet Journal.co.uk. I love it.
Yeah.
This could be our future, Spike, is local newspaper websites. This sounds brilliant. So there was a guy cleaning his van. There's a picture of it, and like all of the doors have like bent outwards from the explosion, and apparently he was whatever cleaning chemicals he was using inside to clean the dashboard. There was like a build-up of fumes, and then when they turned the engine on, it ignited and caused a small explosion, which like destroyed half the van. It blew out the windscreen. The doors buckled outwards. That's terrifying.
I tell you what we should do. We should definitely subscribe to the Central Somerset Gazette, because what we should do every episode, find a couple of serious and
what's new in the what's going
serious
on in
and hard-hitting stories, and couple it with one with a story from the Central Somerset Gazette. Balance it off.
Brilliant. All right, I'm favouriting those sites now. They're going into my reading list. Marvelous.
Yeah. So just one other thing I wanted to mention. I grabbed the article from my neighbour's Facebook, like I said earlier, and I just wanted to give a shout out to her as well. Her name is Louise Voss, so that's VOSS. She's quite a good author, actually. I think the genre she writes in is psychological thrillers. But I've read one of her books, and I'm not really into that type of thing. But actually, I really enjoyed the book. I thought it was really good. So if anyone out there likes that type of thing, or is keen, is interested, look up her name, Louise Voss. She's written quite a number of novels, I think. So look her up. And just thanks to you, Louise, for... I'm not really sure if she ever listens to the show, but thanks to you for sharing that interesting article. And we definitely, as Dan said, bookmarking that website to check back to it regularly to see if we can find some other quirky stuff of it.
Oh, this was interesting. Did you hear? I got this from the Metro. And again, this was kind of another two-part story. So they gave us one part one day, and then a couple of days later, they kind of revealed the other side of the story, like they did with the Dolphin. And there's a shop called Lush, apparently. Which I don't think I've ever been to a Lush.
Shop. Yeah, they sell all these nice, smelly... nice smelling little...
handmade cosmetics, it says
bombs
here. Yeah.
And, soaps and things like that.
But yeah, there was a news story that apparently someone robbed it. They went in and stole a laptop, and I think they took the till or something. I don't know what they did. Here you go, a laptop and a large box of cosmetics, it says here. And then the initial story was that a homeless woman who frequents the area prevented the theft. They turned them around or something was the original tone, and they got them to give the goods back or whatever it was, and that woman was then praised, and the company put out messages on social media, and they started to fundraiser for her, and apparently they raised more than £9,000 for the woman, and her dog Marley, it says here. So I think they've named Lottie was the name of the woman in question, the homeless lady that apparently prevented the theft. But then a couple of days later they put out another article which says she's now been arrested on suspicion of conspiring to burgle and possessing Class A drugs.
She was the lookout.
So it's... Well, no, it sounds like this was either staged, where she went, you pretend to nick this, and then I'll give it back, and they might give me a nice reward or something, that's the spin I'm putting on this, I think. Or it was a theft that went wrong, and she still tried to turn it to her advantage, and then got caught with drugs and things on her as well, I guess. But yeah, she's been arrested along with a 42-year-old man, also of no fixed address, it says here, on suspicion of burglary. So it sounds like she was... Initially, people go, "Oh, what a lovely homeless lady has helped out," and now it turns out she was like some sort of evil homeless lady.
Sad. Yeah,
it's horrible when you think it's a nice story, and then it goes horrible.
Don't like that one, Dan. No,
am I bringing the tone down? But this fits in with us because you have to be sceptical about these things. She's turned in and prevented the theft, and you have to go, "Oh, what a nice woman!" But is she really nice? You have to question these things. Because there was another story before Christmas about someone paid for a homeless couple that they always saw in the area to stay in a hotel for a few nights over Christmas, and they basically trashed the place. They completely destroyed it and were stealing things out of the hotel left, right, and they turned out to be a couple of scumbags. So that was another one where you kind of went, it started out nice and then went horrible. I'm sure there are some very nice people that, through no fault of their own, have ended up homeless, but I'm also guessing, based on some of the stories I've seen in the news, there are some complete scumbags who've ended up that way, probably through no fault of anyone else's.
Have you been catching this interesting documentary on telly which started, I think, 2 weeks ago? It's a 3-part episode. It's the Great Benefits Experiment.
No, I haven't heard of that. That sounds interesting.
They give 3 families their full 1 year's lump sum of benefits, cash.
I think I did hear about this.
Which is, I think, like 30,000 or 35,000 pounds or something like that.
So they get it all in one lump sum instead of having to ration it out throughout the year.
Exactly, but the aim is that they've got to sign off benefits, and they've got to try and use that money to start some type of business or some type of venture that's going to potentially set them up for the rest of their lives so that they can permanently be off benefits.
Yeah.
And it's two episodes done, so I think it's the final episode this week. But it's quite interesting because, and I'm really intrigued to see the last episode, because I almost get the impression, and I have no idea how this is going to turn out, but I almost get the impression that, like, for me, 2 of those families have really good ideas in terms of what they want to do with that money and the business they want to set up, whatever, but they have almost no skills in terms of how they're going to follow that through or how they're going to make it happen. So these type of
Yeah,
experiments.
if you've got no experience running a business, it's not going to
exactly.
end well.
Like I said, I'm intrigued to see what happens in the end. But I know I've read where these similar type of experiments have worked in other countries, where they've given people cash lump sums and they've actually used that money to uplift themselves and totally come off their social systems. I'm really intrigued to see how it happens. But I'm sure you can catch it on the Catch Up TV. It's called the Great British Benefits Experiment.
Oh, that sounds very interesting. I think I heard something about an experiment similar to that, though, where they gave the family a load of money and then they went and blew it all in like a couple of months. And it was something really crazy. They bought like I forget the animal. I think they bought like a meerkat or something. It was like they bought some really weird animal that you wouldn't have thought you'd be able to buy.
Yeah,
and wasted it on like things like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that in this show or is that my thinking?
The guy bought what's the animal? He's creating some animal party company. You know, where they bring the animals to your kid's party.
Oh, it's for okay. Oh, no, that's fair enough.
Teach them about the animals and you know all these different types of things. So that's potentially a good business. But the funny thing for me is one of these families got their cash lump sum, and one of the first things he does is he goes to his son and he says, okay, so you can buy your PlayStation 4 now. How much does the PlayStation 4 cost? And the son says, £600. And I thought, £600? But eventually he doesn't give him the 600 and he gives him like a 450 or 500 or whenever he says, okay, go buy your PlayStation, buy your games. But I think one of the first things that came to my mind is, why couldn't you just go and have a look on eBay and buy a second-hand PlayStation for like 200 or 250, or buy the game second-hand or whatever?
Buy a brand new one.
Why would you just sort of go and splash? I mean, I would think, you know, every penny counts towards me setting up my business and making a success.
That's your seed money for your new company, isn't it?
Yeah, and they just sort of splurge and spend immediately. Now, I can understand that to a degree because they haven't had money for many years and, you know, they want to, you know, express themselves a bit. But also, I'm intrigued to see how the thing turns out, though.
That sounds quite interesting. I mean, that sounds like a show that I might get into. I didn't know they were doing a business thing off of it, because that sounds a bit like heading into Dragon's Den Apprentice-style territory, doesn't it? Yeah, I like those shows. So
not exactly down that alley. So they've
I know not exactly, but it's
they're
trying to do something entrepreneurial with a fixed amount of money or whatever. That sounds But I'll tell you, I'm out. I'm not invested. Okay, so this was a story that, again, ran in the Metro, and it was a man put up a poster, just an A4 piece of paper printed, big title at the top, "Wanted Tennis Partner."
Oh, yes.
Let me read this, because I think this is hilarious. I like things like this. Yeah. It goes, "Hi, I am Michael, and I want to form a tennis doubles team. If you're interested, be here on Thursday at 2:38 p.m, very specific, with your tennis equipment. I will then throw tennis balls at you for 3 hours from different angles to test your skills and your ability to improvise. If you succeed, I will officially name you my doubles partner, and we can start entering tournaments. I have never played tennis before, but I'm almost certain that with the right equipment, I will be good at it." And equipment is spelt wrong. "Please note that you need to provide documentation that proves you have not taken performance-enhancing drugs at any time over the last 12 years. I am not getting mixed up with a drugs cheat. If you cannot provide this proof, I will be reporting you to the tennis authorities." Now, I think that's brilliant. And this is from an article. This guy does this all the time. He puts up stupid posters around his hometown, from what I can work out. Yeah. And this one's for, he's a ghost hunter, and he's put some business cards on the poster for people to help themselves. But on the business cards, it's put goat hunter. And then on the poster, he's had to explain, "Please take one of our business cards and get in touch. I know it says goat hunter, but that is a misprint. The lady in the shop misheard me when I said ghost hunter, and I can't afford to get all 250,000 cards reprinted."
That was my favourite one, actually.
This is really, he's done loads. So he's done that one. He's put just things I've seen similar to this. We've got warning: there's a bear in the park or something that he claims has escaped from somewhere. There's one about piano lessons where allegedly his parents have been paying to get him piano lessons every week for 30 years, but he's never been to one, and now he's under pressure. Can someone teach him to play the piano in a week so that he can get away with this? But yeah, I found him on Twitter, the guy that tweeted these. So I've done a little bit of research. This isn't just my normal reading the Metro story, Spark. I've done some background work here as well. He's at Michael1979 is his Twitter handle. And I found I found this one. This is brilliant, right? This is an article. He's put out a poster somewhere, and it says, "Wanted, wedding partner. Hi, I am Michael, and I need a partner for my sister's wedding on Friday. If you're interested, I will pick you up here on Friday at 1 p.m. All you need to do is to pretend to be in a relationship with me and answer any questions my relatives ask about us. Here is a history of our relationship that you will need to memorise." Then a nice list of bullet points. "We met in a karate dojo last January. We are both good at karate, black belt. Our favourite film is The Karate Kid. You will need to watch this before Friday in case anyone questions you on it. My favourite thing about you is your smile. Your favourite thing about me is my leg sweep. Our favourite historical figure is Bruce Lee. Your pet name for me is Sensei." Now that's a good pet name.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can get my wife to start calling me Sensei.
Sensei, baby.
That would be quite good. Yeah, Sensei. Our favourite song is "You're the Best Around" by Joe Esposito. In return, you will get a free meal. It is not a free bar, but my cousin Martin will have cans of beer in his car and I will get you one. 2 at the most. This is a one-time deal. I'm not interested in a relationship at the moment because I'm focusing on my karate career. Michael. Right. Now what I liked, this is brilliant, right? So a picture of that poster went up on Twitter, right? People started commenting on it and they thought it was real.
Oh no.
The tone of these, no one is doing, there is no sarcasm going on here. These sound awful. So let me read you some of the responses. "He sounds like a bright loser. Anyone that takes him up on this is also a loser." Next one. "And that's why he's single."
Really?
Do people not understand humour? I don't get this at all.
Oh, Dan, we've got to get hold of him. Come on, let's see if you can contact him. We've got to interview him on a future Two Skeptical Chaps episode.
Yeah. Maybe he wants to advertise with us. We can read out one of his adverts.
Yeah.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Here we go. "Wow, is he for real? Girls really want to go to family events full of strangers. Good luck, mate." People genuinely fallen for this hook, line and sinker. Oh dear. Oh, there you go. "Why can't he just say it's a close friend and not a girlfriend?" Someone's got pragmatic about it. Brilliant. This is what I love. I love stupid things that people are taken seriously. That is why I consider myself a skeptic. I love things like that.
Yeah, I read an article a while back. I think you told me about it, or maybe someone else, that there was some law that someone wanted to pass some type of law to get websites or news articles on the internet labeled as like parody or satire or anything like that. And I just thought, oh no, that would be like one of the worst things to have ever happened, because one of the best things about the internet is when people misunderstand things as
it's just idiots.
Yeah, exactly.
That's outrageous. How can that possibly be true?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't want that to happen. I mean, come on, just use your common sense. You can easily figure out whether something is satire or comedy or parody or whatever.
If anyone wants to get in touch and provide us stories, have we got anyone to assign a rank to this week, Spike? Is anyone
new?
Contributed?
No. So
no one else
new,
contributed. No. But I had a thought, because we got to 009, which was Claire, who's one of our field agents. I thought when we get to 10, instead of saying Agent 010, we can still say 00, can't we? We can say 0010.
Well,
it's our agency. We can have our own rules. You can be 0010, 0011, 0012.
We can do whatever we want to,
at the front.
Whatever we want.
That's what I think. So you can still have a 00 number. You'll be 0010.
Yes.
Well, I think MI7 or whoever it is James Bond worked for have limited themselves by doing the 00 system. So I'm getting around that.
I like the way you're thinking, Dan.
There you go.
All right, we probably call it the show there then. As usual, it's been fun, Dan. Enjoyed this episode, actually.
It's been varied.
Yeah, we had a mishmash of topics and articles. As usual, get in touch. Like us on Facebook. Share articles that you'd like us to talk about, and also give us 5 stars on iTunes. Rate our podcast. Thumbs up on Stitcher. And I think you're going to be doing a couple of YouTube-y things for the channel soon as well. So there'll be that.
Yes, there'll hopefully be some more adverts coming around soon.
Yeah, so there'll be that medium for us as well soon. And
trick some more people into listening to us.
Yeah, and we'll be letting you know when we'll be starring on some other shows out there as well.
Excellent.
Contact details coming up at the end as usual. Cheerio, Dan.
Cheerio.
Ciao.
If you outlandishly plan to continue lending your ears to these bizarre chaps and wish to correspond with them, they can be reached as follows. Facebook, 2 Skeptical Chaps. Twitter at 2SC Podcast. Email 2sc.podcast@gmail.com. Or you can call them and leave a voicemail message on UK number 0795 251 3007. They look forward to any input for future episodes or the sharing of feedback that's half-witted, profound, or anywhere in between. No pressure. If you're still listening by now, well done.